guys, thank you so much for joining me on this wonderfully rainy day. In case you're wondering what the background noise is, it is wonderfully rainy in Peru. So let's talk a little bit about this particular time and what May has to offer us all. So firstly, we don't have enough. Sometimes we might feel fear or dismay in terms of how things are going and what is and is not probable. In terms of being grateful and being thankful for what we've got, not everybody has the time really or the mind to think about where they could have ended up and where things could have been and where they are now. So I'm grateful people, and also people that are learning a lot from other people and comparing their lives. Not just that, they're educating each other and they're still inside each other's pockets and inside each other's lives. That might get really, really angry. There's a lot of gossip this year, as I said before, and then there is also the talk of the town. Mars will be crossing the North Node during this time, and North Node is slowly shifting into the middle degrees of Aries, and he is walking in the direction of Pisces, and it's going to be very, very hard for some of us to really understand or know what life is really all about. It's going to be very, very difficult for certain people to understand where things are unless they feel naturally worthy or compared sometimes to somebody else. So comparisons are really, really bad, really, really wrong. We can really fail at life if we keep on going also backwards. In terms of going backwards, we can sometimes count on things that were promised to us before. We can sometimes become people that are really perplexed and very complicated because we seek inspiration from the past. And maybe there is something from your past lives, even from your ancestral knowledge bank, or just from your previous life experience that means something to you much more than what is happening today. So this is about discontent and also attention to detail, as we do have a lot of sensory and ultra real, ultra feeling activity happening in Taurus anyway, as it is a very ultra sensitive sign. And it is all about the tangible, the physical, and what you can have and what you can get and what you can be a part of. And the sensory spectrum is a very, very big deal during this time, but let's not go into that just yet. Let's talk about the past and the previous ideas and ideals and designs. In certain people's cases, there is really no more to give and no more to take where you are. So you have to go back. Going back to the classics, going back to the ancient ways, seeing what you had going on when you were even a teenager or a child, bringing back the classic parts of your life, bringing back the classic versions of you. In some cases, we want to go back to the classics, want to go back to the ancient, and we would like to relive those moments again and again. So this is also very much about not looking forward to anything and wanting to feel safe and good about where life is going. So definitely there are a lot of people experiencing a certain type of revival, and also revivalist materials. For example, listening to songs of long ago, copying your parents' lifestyles when they were your age, or doing something that was already done previously to you. So ancient idealism, ancient tribal magic, and also sometimes patriarchal or matriarchal voices coming from way back when to make one's life feel more consistent and more evolved. And to some degree, I feel for a lot of people it actually won't matter. It's more just about the favorites and what it was that kind of led you on in a certain direction before. So it's like when I was young, I used to love the Beach Boys and I used to drive in my car, and that may be coming back to some people. I've noticed that's been coming back for me and a few of my friends, doing that which you kind of found safe, cool, and happy before. The happening movements of music when you were in your 20s, the happening time of life that you had way back when, and then also stimulating the hormones and the chemicals in the mind through these things, during which there is a kind of feeling of revival and a realization as to who you are, who you were, feeling optimistic, feeling positive about life because of certain previous issues not being there anymore. And also previous styles of music, previous style of dress, previous style of life being sometimes a habitual go-to place. So it's about the sweet places. It's about the places that make you feel good in the heart and the mind. To some degree, in some cases, there are going to be a lot of people walking backwards to go forwards. So before they leave the house, they have to listen to that music that they used to like as a child. They have to have those treats, or they have to enjoy something that has been there all along. So it's about safety and pragmatism to a degree, and it's about not being wrong, or you can't go wrong with this recipe, you can't go wrong with this type of music, you can't go wrong. So yes, it is about safety and security, and I do salute you if you found your place through some kind of ancient, territorial, or just in the past idea or ideal that used to hold you dear some way back. So in a certain way, in some people's cases, going back to the classics or the previous version of you will definitely in time give really good fruit. But I do like to take things further, and I guess not maybe many people will be with me on this. I would trust the past, and I would trust the decadence of the past and the previous taste palette, but what if we were really truly in the now and got to know ourselves all over again? So this is a really, really crazy little window. We are facing Jupiter-Uranus conjunction this month, and we are going to go into a Venus-Jupiter conjunction, which is a very, very amazing on this cusp between Taurus and Gemini this month as well. So at the end of the month, Venus will be brushing past Jupiter, which is going to always give a very good result. And it is all about quintessential, amazing feelings. And it is about wealth, and it is about super luck. And it is about the greatest designs, greatest feelings. And sometimes people might even argue with me, look, like, don't go redesigning the bicycle. It's already been done. I'm quite happy following the route that my parents have laid out for me. Or I'm quite happy doing things on a territory that I'm used to. And I get you. But there's also something in the heart that says no. Sometimes we don't necessarily want to do it the same as we've done. We don't really need that predictable result. But, Uranus does kind of feel sort of happy, not necessarily happy, but very durable and very sincere when you have a part of the past mixed in with this part of the present. So I understand why emotional and sensual or energetic stabilities might be questionable if you don't want to expose yourself to those wholesome ancient energies and vibrations that are ringing through this particular time of our lives as a collective. So how can I put this? We still need to evolve. It's not just about evolution. We need to be aware and awake to the now. A lot of people are just falling asleep. A lot of people are so fine and so good with just what they've got. Also, a lot of people are brainwashing themselves and other people into what is good, what is worthy, and what is just worth the time of day. Some people are going to be putting themselves backwards, not forwards, if they're doing things too much in the previous era of their life. They want to be so much alike to something that they've been or done before that they wouldn't necessarily want to do anything more over that. So having done the series on every sign, which is now available on Patreon, if you are interested, have a look at my Patreon. I found that there is a very big link to people also feeling very wounded and not quite wanted, and exploring some very ancient and tribal energies, including tribal decay. That means that people have a repetitive process that they're referencing from the past, from some part of their mind that is very primitive and very ancient, and this might also give birth to some very unsightly behavior. So that's what I also see for a lot of people during this time. We are in a very power playing time. We are in a powerful year of the dragon. It is a very alpha time. It is a very needed time to step up and be seen and to be 100% real and genuine. And at the same time, I'm feeling that some parts of us are not entirely in control, as this animalistic self that is in the guts, in the meat of it all, is going to start to come out, and there's going to be more focus between the angelic and the animal, the beastly side of character, so people say like the devil and the angel. It's not really necessarily about this at all. Let's not go there. It's just more about the primitive primal ancestral energies, and also those that are more part of the world today, and that have respect and have poise and understanding for the greater body of people, or the greater give and take that we are here experiencing in the modern world. So what I have to say, I suppose that in a sense we do have to understand the primal, the primitive, the animal, and the beastly, even the aggressive parts of ourselves. We've got to marry those parts into our character, because from that comes a lot of chi and the kundalini and other parts of the animal force, or the force from within. From inside the planet, the planetary force walks through the body, and sometimes it takes some relatively unsightly or even cavernous expressions, but at the same time we also have to keep exact. We have to come back to the daily life. We have to live in a certain society. We have to dress a certain way. We have to work with certain people. We have to idealize certain things, and also be part of this big question mark as to where we're going as a being, as a collective being. What is that which we're becoming as a species, as a soul, as an oversoul of all people that are involved. So in a sense, I'm hearing you if you're like, look, this is like too much. Like, don't tell me what to do, some people might say, and some might say, I'm so lost, I don't know where to go, and some may not say anything, some may just skip this part. But definitely there is no naivety here. The feeling of maturity, the feeling of adequacy, also the feeling of power, force, brawn, and the alpha states don't come from being a good little kid. They don't come from being nice, and also they don't come from being overly territorial and overly possessive. It's kind of an in-between state, So if we look at the sign of Orpheus, the sign of Scorpio, it's more about merging the primitive, primal, angry, maybe even disheveled parts, and the beautiful, sincere, well-spoken, well-collected parts that have become part of our, I suppose, reorganization as a species. So we are kind of needing to be very loyal and very simple and sometimes very meek, and at the same time we have to also go into this really strong archaic vibration, which is actually the meat and the source energy behind everything after all. So how do we balance the ancient primal instincts and energies that are coming through this time, and how do we also work with the sensitive, polite, and caring energies that just want to make sure that everything sits well, and that we have everything at the end of the day together and polite, And how do you do it is work through the senses, with the senses. I've actually done a couple of audios specifically for this. On the Patreon channel, if you like, you can have a look. It is about managing and merging the two. It's not just about this. It's about understanding the sensory universe. It's about understanding perspective of other people, sure, and it's actually also to a degree about compromise, but this is only the second sign we're going through. We're going through Taurus. It's not necessarily about compromise. Compromise will not be here yet. It's not about compromise. It's about understanding the body and what it's feeling. So if you are not starting the year from March, this would be very confusing because you might think, well, wait, January went like this, February went like this, March is still doing this, and April is like this, and I don't know how I'm going to cope. If you don't believe in the beginning of the year being January, if you think about it being the start of Aries in late March, 21st of March would have started the year, and we are now only onto the second sign. Taurus is a second sign. This is important. So this is primary colors. This is ABC. This is 1, 2, 3. If you keep things simple, they will just shoot through. They will make sense. Simple, normal, uncomplicated young beginnings and simple wave spells, wake-up calls and feelings, all of this means a lot. Very, very base instincts are very meaningful during this time. They are very primordial in some people, and it's very, really healthy to go with them, but not to joke around with them. So how do you use this archaic ancient spice and not burn out and not make mistakes? It's kind of like working with a very deep set engine. It's working with really primal forces, and it's not very easy for some people to understand how to merge that or join that to their everyday experience, everyday lives. So basically what I've done recently is recorded myself speaking and this is on Patreon today, about how it feels to feel and to really go into the nitty-gritty of the feeling. So this is a kind of a meditation, and it's kind of tantric. So it's not sensual necessarily. It's just about understanding what to do with these feelings that you have, not to just put them away and not to go to that extroverted, angry, or super passionate energy, which may just burn you down and make things unsightly in your life. So some people don't know how to control things. It's like they don't know how to drive this yet. They don't quite know how to work with their extreme energies, temptations, emotions, lust, greed, fire, sexuality, depth, emotional despair, also difficult to understand feelings. That's all going to come up for certain people, especially people that have had no real time and connection to themselves for a long time, or they've been bottling it up. And also for a few characters definitely that are constantly in rage and constantly have a lot of fire. Mars is going through his very comfortable sign of Aries. He is going to touch on the North Node and Chiron, and interplay there a little bit with Mercury. There's going to be just so much time. There's going to be so much stuff that people want. There's going to be so much care that people need. There's going to be quite an enlightening process as well, but this might be less than graceful in some people's cases. So if you don't know how to, hold your things together, if you're not quite aware yet as to how to put your life into common sense and how to also argue a point within yourself without having to go out there arguing with other people or causing chaos, is going to be hard. So chaos is kind of the middleman for some of this warfare, also with Mars being in Aries, definitely close to the point of success, which is the North Node. Chaos, warfare, anger, and also shared or not very comfortably shared meanings. And a lot of passion and desire might be in the mix for a lot of lower vibrational frequencies. If you don't want to be there, if you don't want to be in the way of karma, if you don't want to implant yourself into a storyline which is just too traumatic and too ongoing, too harsh and too senseless, I suggest just work it out of there. It is not about contending with the elements. It's not about being the super good do-gooder. It's not about working so hard. It's not about making sense. It's not actually about plugging into anything or anybody anymore. But there are certain archaic people that don't believe it until they live that archaic fairy tale, which deserves also respect, because we have to understand there are certain gene pools that don't want it easy and sweet. They don't want the smell of roses, they want the smell of gasoline. They don't want care and love, they want something crazy. They want something on the side of the road, they want something gross. Sometimes people want gross things to happen to them instead of actually working with the lighter and more adequate frequency. So if you're caught in the middle between your angelic and your demonic selves and you really don't have any idea of how, I have quite a few questions answered on my Patreon channel. This is about counseling, this is about psychology, and sometimes definitely a good psychologist or a good counselor will help during these times, because some people are just between a rock and a hard place because their passions and their also respect or disrespect of these impulses that are within is driving them wild. And yeah, for sure, I'm seeing quite a lot of people, for example, previously well-to-do people, pious housewives, religious people, office workers, very attentive people, doctors, going through a big scream of the soul, because the dragon year is an initiator. And it wants us to come out wherever we are and be honest and be genuine. And it's really, really hard for anybody that has been living a muted or a psychologically complicated experience to try and merge their animal self with a divine self within. It's very, very complicated for us. And it has to be said, it has to be seen, and it has to be out on the surface, but it can sometimes cause many storms and many upheavals. So basically what I have done is recorded a few audios. They are on Patreon. Have a look at them. They're helpful. And also I have a free series, about the inner child and about how to work with the inner teenager as well if you feel that you are acting out. And I do have to say that a lot of people are getting aggressive, a lot of people are experiencing bouts of depression or dominance or insecurity, and that needs to be understood and put into its place, because it is just bouts of inadequacy, and sometimes weakness is the part that is the largest when it comes to anger and violence and depressive states. So don't consider it necessarily a superpower, but we do necessarily have to have that, as we do have to have salt in our food or sugar or sweetness. So it's also a part of the taste palette of the world today. So don't worry about it. But also don't wear it out. I'm not saying that people need to go directly into the animal and learn how to cope with it or work with it or love it or hate it or whatever. It's just too much work. It's too much work because, why? We don't have a lot of time to go into the dark night of the soul or into any kind of philosophies. It is all about the sensory and the sensitive, and sometimes it is definitely about the bodily. So therapies work. If you're really, really stuck, see a therapist 100%. This might help you, as Chiron is in a very good place for those amazing people that are really up to date and have the means to end this confusion for many. So what else? This is also a very, like, this was just the lowest vibration I could pick up. This is also a very, very high frequency time, because Venus is walking into Taurus. Guess what? Venus loves it in Taurus, so she'll be there for most of the month. She's going to come to a connection point with Jupiter. She's going to cross Jupiter. They're going to be conjunct, I believe, on the 27th of May. It's going to be a very, very good time. So for people that are opportunistic, also people that are squeaky clean, if you don't have any doubts about yourself, also if you're doing anything amazing, if you have a shamanic talent, or if you have a musical talent, if you have artistic talents, it is a great time to seed some really amazing ideas. This new moon is going to be great also, that is coming up at the beginning of the month, is going to be a very, very big, flourishing, plush, even gigantuous time for dreamers and miracle makers, as we do also have Mars next to Neptune at the start of the month, and Mercury will be just next to the North Node. So you see, it is about dreaming. It is about those amazing things. There's also psychosis that happens with people sometimes that say, I'm not living even half of what I need to be living. I'm not even having as much, I don't have as much as I need. I don't have as many friends. I don't have a big enough house. I want more. I want more money. I want a bigger home. I want a bigger wardrobe. I want greater sex. I want everything. So everything on tap, this is very kingly, this is very much also like tyrant territory. Some people are like, I don't care if this is natural or unnatural, I'm going to have it. So there are quite a lot of people that also don't have a lot of respect for themselves or others. They just want to have, they want to get. So coming back to those lower frequencies, in some situations, designing, creating, crafting, or creating a better life, or creating music, creating brands, creating art, it may sometimes be very gargantuan. It may sometimes be very exotic. It may sometimes also not have enough sense of humor to it, meaning it's not fuzzy, it's not warm, it's not mammalian. It's kind of great, but it's also scary. So there is very kind of reptiloid technology out there. Me, my, I want to eat this, I want to have that, I want to experience this person and that person. So there is definitely greed. And a number of reasons why people start certain projects in this very auspicious time, actually, for the human race, that are just about excess and excessive things, excessive thinking patterns, excessive amount of wealth, excessive amount of money, excessive amount of, like beauty. Expectations are higher, and experience also is needed for some people. So I would probably say rein it in a little bit. If you have an incredible sensationalist quality to you, if you are a little bit over the top, if you also know that you're making something that the world simply doesn't need, for example, you are part of a certain, I am nobody to judge you, but if you're part of a certain territory where you are making something that you know that you don't need, like for example you're making excessive things, like you're doing cake decorating, or you're doing like high couture fashion, and you know that the world is kind of like not needing a lot of the things you're making, but you really want to take it to that royal excess, if you're very excessive with cooking or making or baking or knitting or crafting or stabilizing, your ideas could be very experienced ideas also. I understand why a previous dressmaker, a simple dressmaker, might go into high couture during this year, or just a simple musician that just plays anywhere that they go starts to become a trembling sensation. So this sensationalism and obsession and over embellishment and beauty to the point where it's no longer even normal, it's beyond the world, it's ultra sensory, or it's just really high couture, there's going to be very much available. So if you're a person that has already made a point of it, for example, you are working for a very established fashion house like Gucci, and you're one of their designers or you one of their staff, you might have a lot of methods available to you, new materials, new designs, new technologies. It's all coming in today. It's a very space age also. Now, space age in Taurus is sucky. It sucks because Taurus still has to have a root system. It has to have the here and now. It's still baby states, baby steps. It's still ABC, 1, 2, 3 primary colors. We are only in a second sign of the zodiac. This is very base. And I see a lot of people going to excess, but actually not that much is needed. If you make it simple and you just sell the product and you go on with your day and you do something else, just go have your cup of tea. I'm seeing people also working overtime. Like they're going, okay, Polina, I can't rest. Like cut the grass while the sun is shining. Look at how much I can make here. Look at all of these ideas just landing in my lap. Very easy to date, very easy to also take people by storm, very easy to have a portfolio that takes other people by absolute storm. And it's also very easy to take care of other people with that which you do, as we do definitely have Gemini to look forward to. So I don't want to skip ahead too much, but let's do it anyway. By the end of the month, as we do have also Venus-Jupiter conjunction on this cusp between Taurus and Gemini, we have a lot. We have a lot to tell. We have people looking at us. We have people benefiting directly, very quickly, very, very smoothly from what we do. So, for example, you make a product, it is selling by the end of the month. You make a pitch, it is global, or it is very relevant to other people very quickly. So stay in tune for some big architects, for people that are very, very interested in making it big, very interested in marketing and managing and money, very interested if your idea gets heard. If you really want to have a big audience by the end of the month, it is actually very easy. The stream is very, very easy, but did you have it all together inside? And a lot of people are more interested in professionalism, perfectionism, getting their money or getting their idea together. They're more interested in their skill set. They're more interested in those things than their actual life. So here we have ultra dedicationalism, with also Mars and Mercury being quite close to the North Node there. We would have had Mercury brush through first, and he's going on to Taurus, and then there is Mars. Also, non-verbal languages, please understand, with Mercury going onto Taurus, language of the senses. But it's also money talks. You know, it's about pleasure, and it's about things that are exuberant, that are speaking beyond the normal human tongue. With Mars also being conjunction to Neptune at the beginning of the month, we do want something freaking extra. We can't just like settle at this. We want something freaking extra. A lot of people are really like, wow, I want to take it to the limit. And then we have Mars conjunct to North Node, and that's going to bring out a lot of us who want to help and who naturally lead. There's going to be quite a lot of question of natural leadership and stability and connection to the self. And then there's going to be a lot of fire and people, yes, definitely trying to pull a rabbit out of the hat and making a very also ridiculous, but also very sound, safe and long-term ideologies that they are going to stick around for. So like, I mean, okay, I'm going to be a dick. If you are, for example, doing fashion couture, or you're doing some kind of music thing and you're like, who cares, this speaks to me, do you need it? Would you wear it every day? Do you think it's worthy to create an item that's worth like $20,000 for a coat? Do you think it's good enough for you to live in an imaginary world. Also, world of trivia, world of fashion, world of magazines, world of iconic Hollywood, blah blah, anything. World of aesthetics, world of cosmetics, world of covering up the truth with something tasty and beautiful. Do you want it later on in life? Because this is a very, sorry for being a dick, this is a very, very blueprinting time. And also a lot of people will not be able to take it back. This is a fixed sign of Taurus. You can't take it back. So that means that, for example, if you're making something of yourself or another, if you're doing something, if you're packaging something, also behavioralism, if you're really like, you can't take it back. And you can't put it forward maybe. So please consider why people get stuck and why their lives go in circles, because they're like, I don't know who I am and I don't know where I'm going. So some people might be able to claim a very high price and become a high priest of something. There is a lot of question of leadership and being on the cutting edge, and then it's like, do you really want to do this? For example, you decide to be an aesthetician. Is it what they call beautician? You wanting to, like, say, dye people hair every single day, or you want to, I don't know, like practice massage every single day. Any kind of industry also that has to do with luxury, beauty, and the senses, cooking extravagant dishes so that are high in cholesterol or sodium, being part of a new world, as we are definitely, we've already done it, but we're walking into this new world and we're saying, this is what I am, this is what I want, this is exactly me. Then you actually look around, you see what other people are doing, and you might not necessarily be proud. So like, I do respect every single way that people have created lives, and I do like to come back to the base level, as I am living basically in an indigenous type of place here. You know, I'm very close to the city, but I'm also very close to some ancient indigenous grounds where community still exists, you know. So what I'm doing here is I'm kind of like slightly kind of the middleman. I'm not at all the middleman, but like I'm sort of trying to help you guys also understand the forever factor and the longevity, you know, without wars, without excess, without diseases, without mental illness. You know, paso paso, as they say in Spanish. Life goes just as it goes. There is beauty and heaven to life, and it doesn't have to be exceeding a certain level. It doesn't have to be hyperventilating or foaming at the mouth. It doesn't have to spit when it talks. You know, there is no real need to throttle ahead without really considering what you're going to do at the end of the day. It is about sustainability. It's also about saving. It's about the family tree. Like if we are really going to, if we're going backwards, I'm not sure. If we are going to the tried and true, I'm not sure. If we're going to natural cause and effect, flamboyance, color, you know, fiesta, that's all great and it's got its place. And I understand how society has become a culture of excess, and has been actually that for even thousands of years. The closer you get to the city, the more mental illness and sickness there is. But let's come back to the normal, natural day-to-day life. Cooking well, sustainable living, quality of life, how to improve on the sane vibration during this time, how to admit one's own also insanity if one is feeling not so free, complicated, risk-taking, angry, fierce, crazy, extroversion, doing things that are too out there, that taking things too far, being intimidating to yourself or other people, being extreme is, I believe, insanity and a question of health. But many people will be like, no, I'm here to leave a legacy and I'm this. I don't want to get into it. You can leave a comment below. I don't read the comments, but you can leave it below. So let's come back to the wholesome, more natural and neutral ways of solving this puzzle. So here we have a lot of hysteria and a lot of bombardment. North Node cross Mars naturally will bring up a lot of ego and a lot of question. Who am I? What did I do in my life? You know, how am I going? You know. So let's try to package this. We don't need this. The sensory experiences are very real during this time. Maybe you still got a lot to learn. Like you eating, you're not tasting nothing. You're just thinking and eating, thinking and eating. You are not going through the ABCs of life. You have to go back to school. Okay. So what I mean is inadequacy. We don't want to see it. Well, let's start here over. Household chores. You can do better. Okay. Talking to yourself inside. I don't care what it looks like inside. I want to do something great. I want to commit to something big. Okay. If you can't fix this up here and you don't feel anything in here, even if you build the biggest cathedral in the world, it won't matter in the end. Oh, no, it does. It'll be in the papers. Okay, fine. Let's not argue. Disease of the age is this over excess. When we have this amazing time, it's just about knowing the wealth of the current moment. Every single thing is beautiful. You know, everything has its own aroma. Everything has its own taste, its own flavor. Every single thing is very obvious if you just sync up to it and enjoy it. You know, drinking a cup of tea, sync up to it and enjoy it. Listening to the sound of rain, you know, making love, sitting alone, you know, looking at the birds outside, looking at the rain, smelling the rain. And then we get these very extrasensory feelings. Extrasensory feelings that come from Taurus. Very extrasensory sign. A very powerful sign, actually. It's about the inward feelings. It's about being touched to the core by natural physical world. And it's about eventually becoming more spiritual through the tangible physical experiences, through the aromas and the feelings and the sounds. It's about being multi-sensory and also not necessarily ambitious, multi-visible sometimes to other people through your inwardness and respect for all things that life is. So it's not about rushing in front of the gang and demonstrative behavior, which is not feeling like anything to anybody. You know, you're wondering, why can't I make friends? Look at me over succeeding. Why do I? You know, this is a question. The overachiever still do not have this or that. Why am I still single? You know, that kind of question rises up to a person that doesn't have enough sympathy or connection and doesn't feel good in any moment in time. They're constantly hyperventilating and flailing their arms and legs and doing crazy shit while they're impossible to be with, and that's not it. You know, so loneliness is also another aspect of Taurus, feeling lonely. Sensitivity, and also preparing yourself for this Jupiter-Venus conjunction by really elevating your mind or elevating your body through its own senses and its own inner network of impulses. Recognizing what other people are, recognizing life as it is through a certain type of giving and take, and also through grounding and through a natural, simple rebirth of yourself, a resurfacing of who you are, with this Uranus being in the sky in Taurus in conjunction to Jupiter and eventually to Mercury and the Sun. We need to really be close. You know, so people are like, oh, the sex is not as good as it used to be, or like, the food doesn't taste as good as it used to be, you know. I want to taste it, I want to look at it, I want to be in it, I want to be with it, you know. It's ugly. Okay, there is definitely necessary need for sentimentality and a certain type of growth, like an inner growth, a soul growth, and a certain maturity or clarity on how things are and how they were and how they used to be. It's a nice feeling of appreciation, respect and gratitude or grace towards the physical world and towards the believable systems that are happening today. It's listening to your spouse, not just touching them, not just expecting things from them, you know, not just looking at them. You know, you have to feel something. So it is nervous for a lot of people because they're like, I can't feel, I gotta go and get shit done. No, wait. So it's about wait. Meditative, sensual, emotional obviousness. It is about kind of turning within your body, understanding how it feels from the inside out. It's about being careful with words, and it's also about being careful with the points that you're making. Maybe it is also about the wonderful things that life has to offer. It's about the true taste palette, appreciation, respect for natural flavors and aromas. Maybe it's about clarity. Maybe it's also about joining hands with other people based on taste and skill. In some people's lives, they're now able to get an audience. Like you can get an audience for your art, or you can get like a lot of friends because of who you are naturally. It's good to be natural and to understand what is effortless and simple and just happens by default. Also making money. You know, people worried about money during Taurus sometimes. Making money or amazing decisions based on something that is most doable and natural. Like you can say, I can do this in my sleep. That's a nice place to start. Like, I can do this in my sleep, or I have a surplus of this, or this is natural to me. And then that becomes a natural career choice, or it becomes a natural kind of slightly existential decision. It's more just about looking at life as a natural formula. I'm here and it's good, you know, and I'm looking outside and it's raining. I'll stand under a roof and it's cold. I'll make a fire. So it's more regular neutrality. Are you able to hold yourself together? You know, so all of this, the demons and the angels, the bad and the good, the black and the white. Can you hold your shit together? Can you hold yourself together? Because most people won't be able to do that sometimes during this time, because there's so much passion and expansion also with Venus and Jupiter and Uranus there as well. There are lots of people that are looking for somebody. There's also a lot of people that are waiting for something to come back. You know, it's like, I want that taste. I want the taste of ice cream like it was when I was a kid. Yeah, I want to make love like when I was 16. Yeah, I want that today in my 40s, you know. So like there's a lot of mistakes I think also people make because they're basically not neutral in the moment. They don't experience the moment. They don't have any innocence in the moment. They don't have any naturalness. And then they have these high, unnecessary scales of expression. They have these high, unnecessary needs, and they have these cultures, and they have these words, and they have all of this anger and all of this passion. And it's just stupid and it's meaningless if you can't just hold your shit together, if you can't just hold on to just the natural, simple life choices. So this is about heartbeat. It's about stepping, you know, so if you're walking and you're doing something, make it at a nice comfort level to you. It's about being comfortable, and it's about being stable, and it's about also being promised a lot more than somebody else. How come you got this and I don't? No. It's about being promised by existence something better as you process what you've heard. It's like, for example, I heard the sound of rain. And it penetrated my soul, and it really felt good. So instead of being like, all this rain, you know, like throwing profanities out of your mouth, all this rain, feel the rain, hold on to this experience, expose yourself to the rain, learn about it. So maybe one day you'll be standing under a waterfall in a tropical country, or one day you'll be able to afford a shower in your house that has, 7 shower heads. You know, be who you are also, you know, but nobody is who they are. See how clever. So it's like the Stairway to Heaven. Horrible song. Play it backwards, you'll know exactly what it means. Which is also an irony. Reflects a lack of hope in me for human race. Okay, let's come back. Sorry. The longer I talk, the more honest I become. Okay, so there is a need to feel normal. How about that? Normal doesn't live in my world. Why? Wake up, you know, normal. I can't have normal. Why? Because I'm constantly trying. I'm constantly this. And I got to do this and that. You know, so all of this, I got to make myself 1,000 different people to survive the world. That means something to me also. I got it. So to be able to trust the body as it is a gift. To be able to trust life as she is a gift. To be able to not circulate around people because you want a slice of something that they've got as a gift. To be able to be humble and naive as a gift. To live every day, step by step, experiences one by one as they roll out as a gift. To understand what life is based on a simple primitive moment of time as a gift. Do you need to go full Conan the Barbarian? Do you need to go Incredible Hulk? Do you need to rip everything and shred, rip and bust? Do you need to get to an extreme? Never mind. Okay, if you do not know how to live respectfully and tactfully as a being, you might get really big highs and really big lows and really big extremes. Now, that's not a telling of a great person. The idea of the legacy maker being an extreme, angry, ugly person is a lie. The lie is that you got to go through jumping through hoops of burning flame to be able to conceive a good life. You got to go through all of that crap basically to be able to get to the good stuff, and you got to do all the work to get to somewhere where you need it to be. So let's just scrap that ideal. If you scrap the ideal, and then all that feeling of like life is suffering is going to leave, so even the Buddhist ideas cannot help you anymore. Okay, so when you just understand that you are nature and you're a natural being that naturally has a capacity to choose simplicity and do what you gotta do, and for sure, like, use furniture and drive a car and, have fun and do exactly maybe sometimes as other people do, that you're doing this as a naive, open, free person. And free doesn't, Jupiter, yeah, free doesn't mean I have all the money to buy anything I want, ha 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 ha, and I can be on any airplane I want, ha ha ha, I can book a flight tomorrow if I want, ha ha. It's not about that. Freedom comes from within. It's not just about that. Being the breath of fresh air, not having to dominate other people to get what you want, not having to orchestrate yourself to give yourself those simple things. And then just kind of walking out of that freaking icicle that is the human experience for most people, and finding out what normal community is. And that's where we got Gemini, what normal sensuality is, what nice romance is, what nice caring people are, what being yourself is. That's not what I'm coming here to do. I want you to like hijack me. I want you to make me feel good. So you don't want that, maybe. Well, that's the thing, is I can't make plans. A lot of people are so indoctrinated and segregated into their little boxes. They don't know how else, if they don't speak over other people, if they don't decide for another person, if they don't get jealous or angry or frightened, they don't understand that they are. And then that's where I see no meaning in speaking, because that just goes its own way and has its own route, has its own root system, and it wants to do what it's going to do. So are you part of the cure, or are you part of the disease? Are you part of a natural ecosystem, or are you part of this built up plastic, metallic world of importance and scales and maths and dicks? Are you giving yourself more by doing this or that, or are you giving yourself less? Yes, you can have a powerful future seeding during this time. It's actually a very important time of our lives, you guys, as a people. Do you really, really care to see the results of what you're seeding? If you write a song, even though it resembles a great song, it has a great truth in it, do you really like hearing it? I've written 7 albums of music, me, personally, and I don't like anything that I've put into those albums. If I listen to music, what do I listen to? Jazz sometimes. At home, I listen to just sounds of rain and such. I don't like what I've written. So also understand that. And there's a lot of like tribalism needed also to push certain things over the edge. The people or the person that I've attracted through my music taste and the things that I put into my words, I didn't like, and I didn't want to spend time with them. So also understand, sometimes, you paint a picture, you look at that picture, you're like, wow, this is so great. Would you put it in your bedroom? No. Why? Makes you feel anxious. Understand it. Also, sometimes people make something or master something, but they don't like it. Like say, I love cooking, I love cooking, I love cooking, I love cooking. Great, you cook really good. Taste the dish. Do you like it? No. It's okay. Do you want to feed it to your family and friends? Yes. I need everybody to try this. This is so great. Do you like the taste? No. Do you like that? No. So we are in the primary colors. It's not about being judgmental, and it's not about scales of evolution or getting it right or wrong. It's just about like meaningful things as well. When I do what I do, am I escaping life? Am I just closing my eyes and ears? La 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 la. Or am I actually feeling You know, if I'm talking, if I'm saying something and I don't hear anything that I'm saying, what's the point of it? You know, if I'm having sex and I just like slapping bodies together and nobody really likes it, everybody feels hurt afterwards and just like smiles politely, is that good? If I live in a house that's got noises all around it that I don't like, is that good? You know, if I eat food out of a packet and looks so great in front of everybody, it's like, Pringles, can I have some? Yeah, Pringles, cool. Coke, Coca-Cola, awesome. Can I have some? Yeah. Does it feel good? Is it good? Later on in the day, do you have gas? What have you got going on down there? Sorry. Uncomfortable question. What do you have going on down there? Oh, I didn't really like that. So what? Why do you eat it? Because it's what people eat. It's like, haha, joke's on you. So it's like, this is what people do. This is what my country does. This is what's on TV. So let's find a genuine inner bodily response that is real and true. Don't fight it during Taurus. And then by the end, we got groups. Very, very easy to have philosophies. People will set you up. People want to feel free together. People want to market to each other. People will eat up anything anybody else is cooking. People want to have friends. People want to make love. People want to have anything. People want to dominate each other as well. They want to like get into each other's faces. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But yeah, as we go into June, there's going to be a lot of fright and fire, medley, lots of people, lots of little aspects and fractals and lots of messes as well, of course. It's not just about this. People are going to catch you up and they're going to vibrationally merge. If you're vibrating to working every single day, who are you going to attract? People that are going to what? Work with you. They're going to use you for your work as philosophy. You know, it's like, why am I always working? Nobody else around me is working. Because you're attracting that. You know, so if you learn to lay down, lay low, and give it all up, like understand what your body's feeling and also the significance of these feelings. And it doesn't have to be a dark night of the soul, as everybody got stuff to do. Dragon, everybody got something to do. We can't just like let go. We can't just sleep it off. People are asking me at the moment, like, Polina, what would you prescribe for herbs for me? Don't drink the herbs this year. Unless you want a little bit, like, okay, fine, you have like 4 days off and you're feeling crappy, okay, drink something. But this is not a good detox time. It's more about being healthy and still here and being fully, like, almost like possessed by meanings or possessed by the beings around you. Yeah, of course. It's about also possessive emotions. Yeah, like say I'm cold, I really want to cover up. It's possessive as well. It's not like, I'm going to man up and I'm going to sit in the cold. No, if you're cold, cover up. If you're hungry, go eat something, you know. It's about sensitivity and also understanding your own boundaries and those of other people based on natural human, animal, biological instincts that not a lot of people have any pride in. So let's fathom these out this month, and maybe the year will be a lot smoother. It's not just about catapulting yourself. It's not like, Dragon, this is the time, go hard or go home. You also have to do it at your own natural level. And also a lot of people are setting themselves up so much, and it's such a fine line that they're crossing, like that they're sitting on. It's such a dark life. It's such a heavy load that some people are lifting. It's like, what is in there for you? So let's find our comfort levels during this time, if you're with me. And also, if you wanted to, you could question, why do I like this? Why do I like that? If you are a very free person, you can sit there and like eat your snack and really eat it, you know. Takes you half an hour to feel the taste. Oh, I love those grapes. Wait. They're a little fermented. Shouldn't be buying them from that store. Okay. I will sit and look at the sun today. Oh, how nice. Look, the birds are flying. Oh, I feel weird. I feel strange. Why is that? I'm not going anywhere, I think. Contemplative spaces, gestating spaces, waiting for things to happen before you make them happen. Also, one last thing, in terms of progress and projects, although we do have a very giddy Mars North Node conjunction behind Taurus, making stuff happen, unless it is just nurturing and it's just normal and things kind of are, or they've just always kind of been, I would trust, don't get it into your head to do things beyond your means, because there's not going to be enough. There's not going to be enough time, energy, free will, body, brawn for some of this stuff, you guys. We had to push. And Aries and in Taurus, it's not about pushing. It's just about sometimes even wishing things away. And there's another thing. If you started your year, not in Capricorn, because nothing starts in Capricorn, sorry guys, in Aries, if you started your year in Aries and you really, really willed yourself to make some changes and go the extra mile, and now you're sitting there going, the F that I've just freaking done in Aries, my God, I did all of these things and these things are so clunky and stupid. I don't even know, like, I've made a friend. I thought I was gonna be like in love with this person, and I've actually just made a mess of my life. Or like, I promised so many things I cannot actually do. Now is not the time to go for it. We have to wait, gestate, and taste the flavors. So that means you have to taste it, and you have to make your mind up to a degree if you did or if you didn't actually want to really do all that stuff that you set up for yourself. And for certain lucky individuals, this is very ascended people, you can take care of yourself so much during this time, this part of the year, that you can actually forget that you even were ever signed up to something or somebody. You can even make it obsolete. It's like, yeah, I know I started like a new job, but I could actually just forget it. And the whole thing basically, stop fighting yourself and stop figuring things out that you don't have to figure out. It's about ABC. This time is so simple as hard. And then eventually a simplicity also can bring a loss if you don't get it. Like, I'm eating and I'm not tasting nothing. Like, if it is so bland and it is so, how can I say, just boring, it can also be a very heavy time later. So it's actually about advancements at the end of the day. It's so difficult to explain. It's like we are advancing because of Uranus being in the sky, Jupiter, Venus conjunction, and also Jupiter and Venus going into Gemini. It's about advancement, and some of it is about natural gifts, and it is about going a little space age and a little higher than you thought you would go. But it is not also about this. It's about graceful advancements. So you're not running, you're not pushing people over as you're going. So you're actually getting there while also being very natural and neat. Like, you know, when you're walking, like if you walk on the treadmill, if you love it, like I'm just walking and my feet are walking for me. I don't have to push. I'm not like hyperventilating. I feel great. Like I'm walking and I feel great. I'm doing and I feel great. So that's what is meant to stay over after Aries. Automatic grace, automated experiences. You don't have to do a million things to make it work. You don't have to say 1,000 words to make sense. It just basically makes itself perfect in the moment of creation. And that makes a real master. So you don't have to you just say 2 or 3 things, or you do like very little, you know, and then in that specific moment in time, things get resolved. So what you do brings clarity. What you say brings safety. You know, what you make makes sense. It's not complicated. It's not racy. It's not extroverted. It's not crazy. You know, it's makeable. It's doable. Yeah, it's not just doable. You walk through an experience. You metabolize it as you walk through it. Mercury going through Taurus. And you forget about it. So you don't have to build yourself a freaking empire. You don't have to make a pimple out of all of this. You don't have to build a castle in the sky. You go through it, you experience it, and you feel it, and you gestate it, and you go, oh, wow. So you don't have to do it again. So this is very ascended. This is like the masterful thing. You're walking through an experience. You go through the experience. You digest the experience. You feel the experience, you sense it, you really feel it inside your whole body. And you don't need to do it 1,000,000 times. That is what a free person. You're going through it, you see it. Life has laid out things for you already. Taurus is a fixed sign. It's not It's not what it seems, but okay, let's just find our feet here. So you do it good, you make it happen, you feel through the experience, you sense your senses, you understand what you're feeling, you understand for your biology and through your primitive energy how things are without escalating them, without buying too much stuff or eating too much stuff or doing too many things. And then you just feel it until it becomes obvious and you go to the next phase. So it's not like doing things badly and having to redo them. Doing things badly and having to redo them. You do them great, you understand, it syncs up to you. It's a fixed side. It's about doing things well, retaining poise. And sure, somebody's on this level up there, and somebody promised you if you pay money, you'll get to that next level. Somebody's telling you, why don't you come with me? I'll make you the next level. You don't go like scattering anything. There's so much shame out there. Shameful people, programming each other. It's just about looking good to yourself inside. And when you feel that sense of satisfaction, that's not somebody else's satisfaction. It's your own internal satisfaction. It's your own innocent satisfaction. And then you give yourself that next level. Life will naturally give you levels. When you've passed the previous level, it'll give you next commitment or next normal level. Things should be given. Oh my God, they're so hard for me. I also had a feeling I had to claim everything myself and do everything myself. It was inside of my soul, you guys. I just got there now. I'm sorry, this is a long video. I'm also like programming myself anew. So I'm not just programming this channel, I'm also programming myself. All that I give, I get. When things are just given, you've done enough in Aries to force energy, or your ancestors have done enough, or your previous lives, or your previous state. You've already got a harvest, because Taurus is kind of about that. You'll be given things to do. You'll be given things. It's about passivity. Fuck, I just got there, my God. It's about passivity and being kind of like an imagination of the time. So it's kind of very yin. It's extremely yin, very feminine. It's about receptivity. Taurus is about like eating, receptivity, tasting, feeling. Oh, okay. Feeling what you gave, what you pushed, what you forced, and super masculine sign of Aries, you now have an answering energy coming back to you and bouncing back at you. So you gave something and it came back to you like a boomerang. You don't have to go through thousands of lives to solve a puzzle. You just know, I've given my friends or my energy, or I've given my essence out, or I've given myself out in a certain way, and then that now has a bounce back factor. So in a passive receptive way, you just basically absorb and enjoy. My God, that took me ages. Enjoy. And then at the end of the day, it's not about heat. It's not about make. It's not about do. It's about learning to just wait and feel a sense of enjoyment. And telling yourself that you like something when you actually like it. And also understanding when you don't really like it. But it's not about, oh, I don't like this. I need to run. I need to work. I need to work so much to make money so I don't have to do this. My God. Okay, so it's just about life. My God, this is difficult. Life being beautiful and enjoyable for yourself and other people in your life. Oh my God, it's so hard. It's about unique experiences that are powerful and beautiful. It's about love. It's about the things that speak to you through their simple heavenly physicality. It's about accepting the joy of physicality and learning more about the natural things that bring more beauty and peace to your life. It's about clarity. It's about poise. it's about feeling hopeful in the next momentum of time as you've lived your previous momentum beautifully. And then it's about making a chain of life events and stories that are genuinely full of beauty, peace, and natural health. It's about abundance, and it is about also giving. But it won't have to be about work anymore. It doesn't have to be about marketing. It doesn't have to be about people giving you stuff. It's just more about an overdevelopment of some things, making it real and making it always that which it is, like a big giant tree that just keeps on, that's always had fruit. That's what we're trying to get back to as a species. My God, this is so difficult for me. The whole thing was always abundant. Everything is always abundant. Every single thing is obvious. If it is good and healthy for you, or if it is not, you understand through the senses. And there is no point of jamming yourself up against the wrong way. Again, here I go. Love, is simple. Clarity should be obvious. Gifts are here. Things are for you. Life is generous. The planet is here. The planet is a beautiful, healthy, lovely planet at the core of itself. Overall, we have it all going on here, you guys. We live in a beautiful place. Everything's fine. You plant seeds, they grow. You don't even have to plant. It's already here. And then feeling that now this is where things go silent. And the voice has no meaning because it takes away from the sensory palette. Thank you very much. Have a look at my Patreon, and if you like, have a session with me. Thank you very much. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time.